Hello. Just doing my normal. That's my notification coming in that I'm going live. Why does it send a go live chat confirmation to me when I'm the person doing it? I know that I'm live. That's ridiculous. Happy Monday, Tony. As you do. Hold on. Just live now. Paste. Right. So, how is everybody? What's everybody been up to? And hello, Lady Enigma. I am just sharing, sorry. A couple of people said, when you go live, let me know. So it's like, okay. But I have to do it on there because doing it on there means that I have to switch between screens, and that's where I do stuff wrong. I am terrible with technology. Absolutely terrible. So let me just get that ready. Getting darker earlier nowadays, huh? Clear sign that summer is on its way out. Look what you've done to my hair. Serps. What are you doing? Look, she ruined it. As you do. Bill, how you doing? And Chris is in the house. How you doing, Chisme? Right. Haven't really got. You didn't just, did you? No. No, you didn't. That come off your tail. I haven't really got much to sort of talk about today. Because it's been a non-entity day on crypto. It's not really much going on in the politics side of things at the moment, because we've got threats of another shutdown again. Chris, I go live at 7:30 every single night, and it's just sometimes I'm on for longer, sometimes I'm on for shorter. Depends on if anyone's got questions or if there's any topics to discuss. So stop it. So basically, yeah. So, you know, sometimes I just won't be on for long at all. I mean, there's massive things kicking off in the UK at the moment about the problem we've got with illegal immigration. We seem to be having, yeah, bird lady. This is ZERPs, by the way. ZERPs as in XRP breakdown. Murder hornets? Yeah, murder hornets would do it. We'll put it this way. I was waiting for the courts to open today so that I can get the eviction order, so I can get my house back. They've just extended the eviction ban for another 4 weeks, which means that I've got to wait another 4 weeks before the courts are actually open to get my house back. Just get off my hair. Off my hair. So basically, yeah, not happy about that. That means that I'm stuck for another 4 weeks. Crypto Justine's in the house. So yeah, so there's that. Had major problems with somebody putting an order in through my website today, so I don't think that's working properly. So that's going to affect people ordering the magnetic jewelry, which is not a good thing, especially as that's my income, my only income at the moment. But yeah, it's a weird one, because it's almost like everything seems to have come to a grinding halt. Nothing's actually moving. There's not a lot of information coming out of. I mean, I watched Charlie Ward again today, and just to let you know, he's still adamant about the financial system. My contact has basically come back and said there is a way that there could be a system switching over, but it would all be to do with the central banks. So there's a chance that what Charlie's saying about the new financial system could partly be coming in, which is good news. But again, it's not going to make a massive impact on the price. Tony G says, "I'll rent your house, hon." I've got to get the tenants in there out so I can actually get in. Bill says courts are basically shut down here in California. Also, can't get anything done for custody of my daughter. Oh shit! Surely the family courts. You'd have thought, wouldn't it make sense, right? That the courts bear in mind that that everybody who was having an eviction order or family courts or something that doesn't necessarily need somebody to attend, the stuff that goes through automatically, that they continue with all of that instead of shutting it down and putting a hold on everything. And I can understand that there's high kung fu tuber, that there's problem landlords out there that, you know, just throw people out on their ear for whatever reason. But I'm doing it because, and they know it's on all my court paperwork that I'm homeless. So by not moving her on, and there's still people moving, don't forget. So we haven't got the lockdown. So people can still move on, can still move house. There were still people moving a house on the lockdown. It didn't really hit that way at all. So why can't the courts? I mean, even if they're not physically open, you'd have thought that somebody would be in there, and then there'd be judges that sit there, and all they've got to do is write their signature on something to actually pass it over. Backlog of cases is going to be gridlock for a while. That's what they're threatening with the courts over here, because the eviction court and the family court are the same thing. So unfortunately, I'm going to be hit the same way, even though I was literally expecting my eviction order to come out any day. I had a letter to say it had been passed to a judge to get signed off, because she's agreed that she's going to move out. She just needs the eviction order so that the council will give her some housing. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a case of rubber stamping. It's not like nobody attends court for evictions unless they actually go against it. And if they're going to challenge the eviction order, yes, they're the people that need to go to court. They're the people that need to be in front of a judge. But there are so many people that don't need to go in front of the judge. Bill, you're one of them. You're just looking for custody of your daughter, right, who should be with you already. So I don't understand why they can't just, it's a rubber stamp job. You know, it's not like somebody is going to be challenging the fact that you get custody, because it's in her best interest to do that. And yeah, like I said, the evictions, the trouble is in this country, and I think what's happening in other countries, is by doing what they're doing, I understand that some people need to be protected because there are some nefarious landlords out there, but not all landlords are nefarious. And some landlords have the piss taken out of them really badly, like people don't pay their rent for a year. And it still takes up to a year to get them out. I mean, I've been waiting since last September, right? Because I have to go through a set stage all the way through. And it should have been September till March. And unfortunately, they shut it down before it could come out. But even that's 6 months, 6 months that I was homeless. Well, I was homeless for 5 months of that. But anyway, right? So why can't these people, especially in family courts where you've got adoptions, why can't they? It's just a rubber stamp. Why can't they actually go and do this paperwork so that there's not so much of a backlog when this actually goes through? And the government guidance on evictions, I can understand. Oh, okay, you've got, thank God for that. No, that's good news, Bill. And you know what? You could actually go into, you could physically, there could be a day where they have like 1 hour at a time One person. That's one person where you literally turn up and say, hi, judge, I'm a real person. This is my daughter. She's happy, healthy. I'm a good person. As you can see from all the paperwork you've got in front, ask me some questions, rubber stamp it, go away. That's one less case on their desk when this actually opens up again. It's just, and like with my one, it's not an eviction because she's done anything wrong. She literally has done nothing wrong. She's not behind in her rent. She's not a bad tenant as such. She just refused to move because she wants the council to house her. And I supported her on that for as much as I could. She actually turned into a fucking nightmare because she won't allow me anywhere near the house. And I could have spent the last, I had a survey booked for a full structural survey in November. So from November till now, which is 9 months, I could have had the full structural survey done, had all the paperwork through, all of the specs. I would have had planning set in place for everything that I was going to do to that house 1,000 times over, so that I could plan what I was going to do. I've already planned my kitchen. I know exactly how that's going to go in, but I've got the rest of the house to do. I could have literally, to the penny, planned the whole lot and found a best way of doing it. But no, she wouldn't let him in. That's another story. And by doing that, she alienated herself from me, unfortunately. But that's just what people do. They shit all over you when they have the opportunity, because it doesn't suit them, and people get very selfish. But that's just the way that is. That's just one little that I've got in my life that when I start talking about it, I get caught up and on my soapbox. But yeah, there's no reason why everything has to shut down the way it is. The one good thing that I was looking at today on one of the channels that I watch was basically the change. You know, we were talking yesterday about change. Hey, Darcy. And yes, it is too much sense. We're talking about change and everything like that. It's actually started. There was a really good blog that somebody did on New York, but in actual fact, you can apply that to pretty much every single city in the world. And they were talking about the fact New York specifically, unfortunately, is dead now. People are moving away. They're not going back. The rental and the housing market's gone down 30 to 50%. People are moving out of New York, and they're not even, literally, they're not even going to see a property before they're buying it. A property comes on the market, phone up, do a quick Zoom, show me the house. Yep, I'll have that. And they don't even see it until the day they move in. And that's happening a lot over in America. And it got me thinking, you know, you've got the realtors. We call them estate agents over here. And you've got the realtors. And the way that they're working now is that they're physically doing a walk round. So you're getting a video. And showing the house that way, so that you're not actually got somebody going to the house physically walking around. So that they're getting smarter in the way that they're working. And it's almost because it's remote. You're actually buying houses remotely at the moment, which is a new regime. But then that should knock down the price of fees. But that's another story. But yeah, you've got a lot of people that basically are sitting there saying, yeah, I've moved to California, I've moved to Arizona. This other guy, you know, I don't need to be in the city anymore. And he quoted one of the really big office buildings that are in New York, and he said it houses up to, I don't know, it's like, I think it's 4,000. Or 40, no, about 4,000 office workers, and be lucky if there's 500 people in the whole building. And people are working from home, and other people, because it's worked so well working from home, and people have got that better quality of life, that in actual fact, you don't have to be near the centre of a city. You don't need to have to be within commuting distance. You don't have to be in the hubbub of everything in order to be able to do your job. And this was one of the sidelines that we started talking about yesterday slightly, but we didn't actually carry on with it. And that's that with all of the problems that we've got with housing, and the fact that we can't house everybody, and the quality of housing has gone downhill, and basically what they're saying is that the house prices need to change, and the way that the pricing needs to come down, because you used to be able to buy a house for 2 years' salary, and that's nowhere near what you've got at the moment. But what they're saying is that this is going to drive down the house prices. If they turn those office buildings into housing complexes, flats, we call them over here, apartments, but instead of charging the earth for them, because they will no longer need to be around their place of work, then the central cities, which are the hubbub and the really expensive housing and everything like that, for example, London, Manchester, Birmingham, all the big cities that we've got in the UK, people don't want to live there, right? They won't want to live there because they'll want to move out, leafy suburbs, somewhere. You can go north, you can go south, you can go to West Country. You've got lots of options that you can go to for cheaper than London actually is. It's going to drive the prices down in cities. And then you're going to have a glut. You're going to have a glut of available housing, because you change these flats, these office complexes, into flats. And you don't have to, you can actually have them so that they're spacious. I mean, at the moment, what we've got is a massive problem with the houses. Square footage has got smaller and smaller and smaller over the years, because they're trying to get the maximum amount of money that they could possibly get out of every single square foot. And that means you've got back-to-back housing. And so you've got a house facing that way and a house facing that way. No gardens, very small front garden, that's it. No back garden at all. Or you've got maisonettes, which means you've got basically two flats. So you've got a house, looks like a house from the front, and you go up the steps into the top level, and that's one flat, and the bottom level is another flat. And again, a lot of the time, the bottom flat has a garden and the top flat gets nothing. Kung Fu Chibi says, I shall speak to my boss. 2 years, either the houses are too expensive or I'm not getting paid enough. It was the way it used to be. And you didn't used to have all of these different applications go in and all the checks and everything like that. You used to just have a meeting with your bank manager, who used to say, yeah, you can afford it, or no, you can't. If house prices go down, I won't sell. I'm not selling anyway. The thing to remember is that with the Nisara Jasara, if that comes in, and I'm ever hopeful, and in fact, Charlie said something today about some facts that he's found, or that he's been given, that he is going to send out to some people and let them share it, about the changes. Some of the changes that are coming in are actually on the US website. We'll see. But basically, under the new system, there will be an excess of money. So you're going to be able to buy your places. It doesn't matter if the prices come down, because you're going to be given money other ways. There will be a level playing field, hopefully. But also at the same time, Justin, who cares what the price of the house goes to if your mortgage is paid off? And who cares if the price of your house goes down if you've paid it off over many, many years? Because you're going to get a lump sum in to offset the fact that that's going to happen. If they do what they say they're going to do in the Nisara Jasara, then house prices aren't going to matter if it comes down in value. And it doesn't matter whether you're renting or buying. There's a lot of people who, if they got a large lump sum, hi Rising, if they got a large lump sum, they'd go and buy themselves a place and have it mortgage free. You wouldn't be able to have a mortgage under the new system anyway, because it won't be a system that's based on debt. But yeah, so you've got that sort of situation. But if you can take some of these massive, great big blocks, and let's face it, some of these massive, great big office blocks are empty anyway, and they're going to be more so empty than ever before. I got an old cottage in the middle of nowhere in Ireland, totally isolated for sale. Oh, Darcy, if I had the money, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. Hi, Deb and Steve. But yeah, if they do that and they can change it into proper housing, you know, with quality space. There's no quality space anymore. I mean, you're in like little boxes. You've got a tiny little living. The problem is they're building houses now. They moan about the fact that we've lost our family values. The houses and the flats that they're building now don't even have enough room for a dining room table, as well as a 3 chairs and 2 armchairs, a 3-seater settee and 2 armchairs. That's the standard. Right, you put that in one of the living rooms, especially in new houses, and there's no other room. You can't get a table in there. And whereas they used to build the houses with 2 reception rooms, and one was the eating room and one was the living room, so one was dining, one was living, they don't do that anymore either. So, you know, I love the idea of having the equivalent of a Manhattan loft, which it would be like a massive open spaces. And all they'd have to do is put in a kitchen and a bathroom. In fact, all office spaces have bathrooms on every level. So it's just a case of turning the toilets into a bathroom. So it's not like you have to pipe in. You've got the electrics there. You've got the water going in. It won't take a lot to change office spaces into housing. So you've got the stairs and probably the lifts that go with it. You've got the front doors, so there's going to be secure front doors, and then there'll be, because office blocks generally have different areas for different companies. So generally you've got security on the front of every level. So all you have to do is play about with the inside. It wouldn't take a lot. And the thing is, if you've got a situation where they're not going to be able to sell them as offices, you're not going to be able to use the space as offices because nobody's going to want it. And to be honest, developers going in are going to want to turn a really good profit and not be able to do that. So why can't the government go in and redo the classification, reclassify it from corporate to personal? Easy enough done if they pass the right legislation, and then people can go in. They could literally go in and buy the floor, and then do it themselves. You know, you can get your own contractors in to do that sort of stuff. You don't have to wait for a contractor to take over a whole building. It's an option. I mean, that gives lots of. You've got people that know what they're doing. Darren, Rising Green, who know what they're doing, that could go in and do that sort of stuff. They can turn it around on I don't know, 20 grand. Doesn't have to be huge amounts of money you spend on a kitchen and a bathroom. You could do it on a lot less than that, and then allow people to come in and just and do it the way that they want. You can, yeah, it's just so much that you can do. It's such a really good opportunity, and it's so frustrating because I can see the direction of travel that we're going. I mean, everybody's talking about the fact they don't want to go back to work, that working remotely is going to be working for them. But also at the same time, you're talking about artificial intelligence taking over jobs. You know, you've got, I mean, even the local co-op is delivering orders on Uber Eats, you know, or Deliveroo or whatever it is. So you don't even have to go out to a supermarket. So soon you're going to be able to have all of, well, you can anyway, but generally you have to spend £35 in an order in order to have it delivered for free. But, you know, if you can get an Uber driver to go down the road and get you, I don't know, a few days supply, the fresh food and everything like that, and deliver it for a couple of quid, why would you even want to? You know, it's you can, I'm not saying that you need to hibernate, and hibernate is a really good word, but at the moment, people want to stay away from big cities, big places. I hate going into town. I can't think of anything worse than going into the centre of the local town. I hate it. I stay as far away from it as possibly can. I'm really unsociable. I don't like crowds of people. Not even the best of times. So for me, going into, and I hate shopping. I really hate shopping. That's my pet hate. I'm one of those people who goes into a shop, sees something, like it, yeah, I'll buy that, off I go, back home. My worst nightmare is when someone turns to me and says, let's go shopping, do lunch. It's like, you want to do more than like an hour walking around the stores? No. I'll go sit in the coffee shop, you go do your shopping and then come back to me afterwards and we'll do lunch. But yeah, so Kung Fu Tuber, there's a lot of empty buildings around, even abandoned ones. Yes, there is. But with a lot of these other buildings that have been abandoned, it costs a lot of money to put them right because they've got inherent problems, a hole in the roof that hasn't gone fixed, dry rot, that sort of stuff. And sometimes it's dare I say, easier to just knock it down and start again. I had 2 like that, Darcy, says Green. Oh, and it's moved up on its own. Sold mine a few years ago. Had too many issues being a Brit. Why are you selling? Bill says turning office buildings into housing might help with the massive homeless situation. Hopefully. Yeah, but there also has to be it's almost like a charter, an agreement that people have to look after their property and the surrounding area. I mean, have you seen some of these shitholes where the looters and everything, they've gone in, they've graffitied everything, they've destroyed as much as they can, right? And it turns it into a war zone. It looks like something like you'd find in Afghanistan after they've been bombing. I mean, it's people have got to be looking at that and going, oh, really, this is where I live now? And it's got to be so demoralising. Studio flats, worst things allowed on the market. No, I'm not talking about studio flats. Studio flats should be, should be outlawed, right? Having people, a studio flat, to anybody that's not in Britain, is basically one room with the kitchenette as part of the room, and you've got a separate bathroom. So you're lucky if the kitchen is segregated away from the one room. But that's your living room, your bedroom, and usually your kitchen, but it's tiny. In fact, it would be probably, what's this, 4 meters? Yeah, so 6 meters by 4 meters, I think this is. So 6 meters long, probably by about 5 meters wide. That's a studio flat. You can't swing a cat. And especially when you've got lockdown, my nephew and his girlfriend and their new baby were locked down in a studio flat for 3 months. And it's a ridiculous situation. That's the sort of thing that you would expect to see if you've got somebody who is older that needs to downgrade, so they've got less area to live in, clean and all that sort of stuff. That's the sort of thing I'd expect to see in a retirement complex, not a young family starting out. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. And the price they charge them is more than I charge for my 3-bedroom house because of the differentiation in the prices for the areas. And they're like 80 miles away from me. Yes, Kung Fu Tuber, enough for everyone to be housed. Absolutely. All that useless floor space. It's one of those things that if we could hire XRP bags, if we could get, I mean, how good would that be, right? If one of the things that we do, if the XRP comes in or we get the bull run and stuff goes up, how good would that be if in your local areas you get a group of you that's in the crypto community and you go round and do exactly that? change the office spaces that's in your local area into accommodations for people. I mean, the one thing that when I was with UKIP, the one idea they came up with was the equivalent of social housing, but to buy. So what you would do is you would have like a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom house, right? And you would literally build them, like whole rows of them, so that people who want to get in on the ground floor of buying their own place, the only person that can live in there with their family, obviously, is the person that's on the mortgage. But you buy it 100,000 flat fee, and then when you sell it, you have to sell it back to the company that sold it to you, but you get the increase in inflation through the time that you've been there. And then you pay really low interest rates and you get it for 100,000. That gives you somewhere solid to live, right? If you wanted to live there for the rest of your life, you could. So you've got somewhere solid there to live. You've got a minute mortgage, which you can overpay, pay off and all that sort of stuff. And then when you decide that if you get family, get married, have kids, need bigger spaces, want bigger spaces, get some equity and want to use that to move up, then basically what it does is it allows you to be in a secure environment where your interest rate is fixed, your outgoings, you know what your mortgage payment is going to be every month, which is a lots less than if you were to take out and go and have a 1-bedroom house or 2-bedroom house anywhere else. Because 100,000 for accommodation, you'd be lucky to find that anywhere unless you're going up north, especially down south. And that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to bring in the equivalent of social housing to enable people, first-time buyers, to get on the ladder, because you can't do that now. And you do it regionally so that kids could stay close to their parents. You know, at the moment, I don't know what it is in America, but at the moment, the average age of children leaving home, I think it's even gone up. It's 51 in this house. The average age of children leaving home is like 34, 36. And that's a ridiculous situation. You should be able to get a job and leave home when you get to 18, 21, whatever it is in the country that you are, and be able to be close to your family. So you've still got that family unit. I had to move 80 miles away from my sister to be able to afford to buy a house. Luckily, I moved down closer to my parents. But it's what you choose to do. And it's silly, because what it does is it breaks up the family. I know that probably was the whole idea of it. And yeah, the problem is that there's not much incentive to help the homeless, because there's no way to profit from them. And I'm hoping that us 1% is 1%, that we are. I'm hoping that we will see beyond that and be very altruistic in how we do stuff to help the local people. The one good thing, I mean, obviously I've got my charity in Africa, that, you know, the Templeman Foundation, that I really want to help, because they do amazing stuff. But my focus is going to be close to home. You know, they say put your own house in order. Charity begins at home. We've got too many people on the street. That's why I get so angry about the fact that we've got squaddies and people living on the streets, and yet we've got violent criminals coming in from France on rubber dinghies that are being put up in 4-star hotels. And that's just wrong. And what it does is it shows people that we're not valued by our government in any way, shape or form. It's a slap in the face for people like me, hearing that sort of stuff. They want to put me in a hostel, right? Me in a hostel with a load of druggies. But they'll put people that are coming illegally up in a 4-star hotel. Not happening. Darcy said, I'm selling Rising Green. I bought it for very, very little. Was going to do it up, but just want the cash now. I want to move. Okay, good for you. In no time. Boo, sorry. Bill says, I hate big cities also. Shopping sucks. Green says, I'm just looking at new contract now, Boo. 200 timber frame homes with government funding, keeping myself busy until this moonlark kicks in. Hopefully not much longer to worry about, Darren. Coffee shop, order stuff online, Netflix and takeaway. Yeah, I don't even watch Netflix at the moment. Everything that's coming up is just, it's just ridiculous. I mean, there's a new one called Stargirl. I've actually found something that isn't based in the occult and talking about Satan being a good person, which just gets my goat right now because of everything that's going on. Yeah, and takeaway. What's your favourite takeaway, Chris? Because I've gone vegetarian, so I can't have kebabs anymore. That was my one thing that I really did enjoy as well. The reason that Mrs. Devon and I live on the moors, fewer people. Lady Enigma, same here. Shopping is not my favourite thing to do. My coffee shop is the local pub, says Chris. I miss coffee shops in Amsterdam. Hopefully, once all this stupidness actually goes over, Scott and I are talking about doing a DLT conference over in Holland. Bill says, Booey, looters don't loot places that own guns. Yeah, funny that, huh? Moneybags screwing their people. Chris says some studio flats now have the toilet only separated by a screen. And it's just ridiculous. Honestly, it's ridiculous. And it should be illegal because in order to pass the legal criteria, a toilet is supposed to be 2 doors away from the kitchen. So you have to have a toilet door and then there has to be a kitchen door. You can't have it so that there's not 2 doors in between the toilet and the kitchen, technically. And that's what you have to do. You have to make sure if you put a toilet downstairs that there literally is 2 doors in between the kitchen sink and the toilet bowl, basically. Green says, that's just wrong, Boo. How much of that, though, was their own doing? As in, I didn't lock down at all, not one bit. No, I was the only one on the project I was running. Everyone ran. I didn't stop. I just went into work every day. It didn't, and I was still shopping for 4 families, right? And I'm supposed to be one of the at-risk people, and it didn't scare me. What I was pissed off on some of it was that some people took the piss out of me, trying to get me to run around a lot more than what was actually necessary, and I had to be quite strong about that. But yeah, I was going out every single day, going to work, doing my job, coming back. The only thing I did miss was the gym, which is now open, but I haven't actually gone back to it yet. I've got something on my leg I need to have looked at before I go back to the gym. But yeah, it was a choice, and it was a choice, and everybody decided they were going to be sheeples. Kung Fu Trooper says, I'm in on the accommodation plan. I think that would be a fantastic way of giving back to society. Steve Willits, hello, honey. What did I miss? What are we talking about? Plastic bricks? Good day, lurkers. Good day, Mr. Greenster. We are talking about Netflix have been cancelled, sort of exposed. I mean, yeah, it has. You're right, Mafia. XRP Chance says, I watched the Jusara video on Charlie Ward's channel earlier. Mind blown, isn't it? Isn't it? Is that the one that he did with Santa Surfing? Watch Santa Surfing. She is, apart from the fact she's absolutely adorable to listen to, she's basically, she is like the go-to person on the Jusara. People send her proof that their debts have been paid off. All of a sudden, you know, the mortgage is gone, credit card debt's gone, student loan debt's gone. They're doing it little bit by little bit. So Green says, right, I'm paddling out to sea in a dinghy at 4 a.m. 20 minutes learning French, 4-star hotel by lunchtime tomorrow. Sell everything else, buy crypto, be French for a bit. Look, Chinese takeaway, imagine that. Maybag says, I will invest to create jobs for people. The thing is, we're going into a time where technology is going to overtake. And bear with me on this one. Is it such a bad thing that people don't need to work? Now, I know I understand that money and bills and everything else that goes with that is always going to be an issue. So what if, in preparation for the times when the jobs are going to disappear, which they are, that they do things like they bring down the values of the houses and the rents. We've got patents coming out that's going to give us free energy. The elites have been using it for fucking years. How do you think they've done the underground bunkers? So you've got the free energy is going to be released. And I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm talking about over the next sort of 5-10 years. So just say, see you later, Chris. Absolutely. Give us a call on Thursday. But basically, yeah, if you've got a situation where you've almost an enforced lockdown, which is what we've got at the moment, but because there's no jobs, so you're sitting at home. What if what they're doing is preparing us for that? What if this is basically, you know, it started off as a test to see how far they could push us, but now if you turn it into something different, if you turn it into this is a dry run for the fact that a lot of jobs are going to disappear. Jobs are going to disappear anyway. We're in a recession. Recession, depression, if that ever hits, you know, people are going to be sitting at home on their arse anyway with no money and no food. So think about this in a more positive way and spin it round. What if the reason that we're now thinking about going into a second lockdown is because they're getting us used to the fact that we're not going to be going out to work? So then what we're going to look at is a universal income. It's part of the Jasara stuff. So if there's a universal income and people don't need to work, then what will people do once they've done their initial period of slobbing out, enjoying the stuff, and then they get to the stage where they get bored? I haven't actually got bored yet, but I'm sure it's coming. I've been not working for what, 7 weeks now? 8 weeks? No, 7 weeks. I haven't got bored yet, but I keep myself busy on other stuff. But so and then they start looking around. What are they going to do? They're going to do a job that really interests them. So they might go and work in a local nursing home and go and do a few hours a week, looking after the elderly and giving back, you know, and maybe they earn a little bit more money. The nursing home will have to pay good money to incentivize people to come out and work. So we're talking about a turn of events where if everything becomes automated, or everything's becoming automated, so the people that really have a passion for something are going to go and do that. And then the people that really, really need the money because they want to improve their quality of life are going to go and do the other jobs, right, that nobody actually wants to do, like solicitors. Just kidding. Right, kidding a bit. But basically, yeah, so what if that's that? What if you've got a situation where you're paid to stay at home, you're going to have a quality of life? Obviously, like Darcy says, anyone see the new David Icke video on how they're not testing for a virus, but a genetic code that everyone has in their DNA? And what will that do? I need to watch that because that means they're looking for something. Yeah, that's slightly worrying. And then basically, yeah, so you've got that situation. So what they're saying is when you take the normal humdrum of life away from people, then they're not concentrating on using the right hand part of their brain all the time. Their left hand side of the brain is going to work. It's going to come back to work in order again. So you're going to be more creative. You're going to be more relaxed. You're going to be more. There won't be stress. You're going to have quality time. You know, the fact is, if you you bring your own structure. Going to hospital on Friday, COVID test on Wednesday. Oh shit. They better not expect me to have a COVID test before I go to hospital. Otherwise, I won't be going to hospital. I'll just cut this fucking thing off my leg myself. Tony says this, my cousin's son has just bought a brand new house last year and downstairs toilet is just off the kitchen. One door only, opening the toilet door when you're in his kitchen. So basically what they're doing is they're going against, they might have changed the rules, which are wrong. They're looking for the most tasty humans. I'm right here. They will. I'm against having the test. Actually, yeah, no, they can do a test on me because I've actually got my DNA is actually stored on that 1, 2, 3 thing. I already sent in my saliva test to do my DNA for my heritage and that. So yeah, I'm 2 doors is for commercial premises. They'd have to catch me before they can eat me. Yeah. But yeah, Moneybags is debt free, but I did it myself. Yeah, I know. Moneybags, I was debt free until I got into crypto. Well, I've always had mortgage, don't get me wrong, but I could have paid off all my debts when I sold my house, but yeah, paying off debts, buying more crypto. Guess what one? Darcy says, I've got to go into hospital too soon, but going to cancel soon if they want to test. Yes, you would be worn out and no good, Kung Fu Juba. Rising says, I'll do it, boo. Or better yet, pay cash at the vets. Vets always do amazing jobs. I'm pretty good with a suture kit, though. I'll charge Merlot. You're on. You're on. You buy this, cut this fucking growth off my leg, and I'll bring the wine. They might be looking for the true king of England. Life without purpose cannot thrive. Yeah, but your purpose will change, Moneybags. That's the whole point. You know, it's when you haven't got to go and do the humdrum, the going to work because you have to get some money in order to live. When that goes away and everything that you earn is actually your own without taxes, and that you have a basic income coming in that's going to cover most of everything that you've got to pay out, then your choices are different. If as I you know, when I moved down here, I wasn't looking for the top jobs to pay the most money. It's one of those things where I wanted quality because I could give myself. I mean, I wasn't looking for a £50,000 a year job. I was looking for a £25,000 a year job, maybe 30 if I could get it. But I wanted quality of time, quality of life. So if you apply that to most people who don't want to be going out and doing a 9 to 5 or a job as a cashier in Asda's to do 40 hours a week to pay the bills, you're going to go and do something that you're actually interested in. If you ask people, you know, if there was any job in the world that you could do, anything at all, what would it be? I mean, once this silliness goes away and you actually do some proper deep thinking on what you would want to do, then surely that would give you your ultimate job that you would aim for. So if you had the ability of being comfortable enough where you could do and be any job you wanted to do, then your happiness in life would be immeasurable, wouldn't it? Am I completely off base? First dates. Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be a drunken stupor while you're hacking my leg off. Yeah, so it's just thoughts. I mean, isn't it nice to actually sit down and just think about what could happen? You know, we forget the Nasara Jasara. Just remember that we're in crypto. So thinking about crypto and then turning that on its head, we're going to have, you know, a quality of life where we're not going to need to work. But everybody's talking about what they would do in order to enhance other people's lives, aren't they? Everyone I speak to do. It's one of those things that we all dream about being able to do. So if we all get a government benefit, everyone will be going for part-time work. Yeah. You never work a day in your life when you love what you do. Absolutely. But Steve, if we all get government benefits, so we get a universal income, it's not going to be, if this comes in, then it's not going to be social security. It's not going to be because you can't work. It's because you won't need to. And those that want to will. So, like I said, once the initial period of, you know, sitting back on your ass and getting bored is over, then you would want to do something. And if you're being given everything that you need to meet your basic requirements, then there would be a feeling of the fact that you would need to give back something. And I think that you would find that community and that community spirit and that selfishness would go away, but the community spirit would come back. So you would automatically look around you and go, well, you know, who needs help? Wouldn't you? I would. You know, I was sitting on my, I was going to work, but I was sitting on my ass while everybody else was scared and in their houses. And I just went, right, well, who needs their shopping done? Give me a shout. I'll go out once a week, you know. So would this work be paid or not? Well, no, you would get paid, because the idea would be that you would have your universal income that would pay all the basics. So you get your food, your rent, hopefully the energy be free, but yeah, you'd get all of that. And then if you wanted more, then you would actually need to go out and work for it. But everything that you would working for, from if this comes in the way that it's supposed to, then your work would be untaxed. So what you work for would be your own. So you'd never even resent that side of it. It's a nice way of thinking about it. That would be a nice world to be in, wouldn't it? So whether it comes in or not, I don't know, you know, but when we're talking about Nasara Jasara, that is what would happen. And there would be a basic, you know, if you wanted quality of life, then you would go out and get a part-time job, but you'd pick something that you wanted to do, or you'd pick something that you wouldn't mind doing. You know, you wouldn't pick a job. All the shit jobs will be well paid, so therefore you would want to go and do a shit job to get higher pay, right? So Green says, I'll have my lab, bee engineering with water, biohacking bees, growing amazing food, and a huge list of things. Got to have a plan. Money is just a tool. Shiny things are generally useless. Diamonds are like grains of sand stacked up in basements. Yes, they are. Tony says, it may be boring, but I am still doing the job I've wanted to do since I was 5 years old and enjoy it most of the time. Yes, you do. And that's the thing. But that financial freedom that you will have will allow you to, well, what you do at the moment, because you enjoy the job that you're doing. Same as you, Darren. You know, that you're doing a job that you like to do. So when you're doing a job you love, you don't feel like it's work. And that's the thing, and that's the beauty of it. So I mean, what would I do? I would probably want to work with kids, and also be maybe a TripAdvisor ambassador, and travel around and do reviews for, I don't know, 4 and 5 star holidays in my spare time. That would be rather nice. You know, I'd need to go to every island in the Maldives and check them all out, and then give some feedback. A life coach. Thought about it. I mean, I'm pretty good with seeing people's strengths and weaknesses and helping people to feel better about themselves. I think that's something that I really enjoy doing. I like to build people up. And but it's I actually thought about doing financial coaching. I was really tempted after I went through what I went through when I put myself in debt management at one point some years ago. And basically I learned an awful lot about the debt system and how it works to go into debt management, and what the difference is between that and doing a bankruptcy and all the different things that you can do. So I was referred some people by my friend. I actually helped my friends first, and then I got referred to other friends of theirs to help them. And all that people needed to do was to find out how to manage their finances. Literally, it's, if you've got somebody who's in debt, then they're so scared of looking at their debt that they make it worse themselves. And there's a real psychology around debt and debt management and being out of control. And then once you put that control back for people who have debt, then anything becomes possible. And if you can put them in a position where they have complete control on their debt, then life changes round for them. And you don't need to be worried about the letters coming through the post. And you've taken ownership. And I didn't take ownership of my debt because people fucked me over so much, because I'm stupid. I give money away, right? I've got an ex-boyfriend that owes me 15 grand. So when I had 15 grand's worth of debt, I paid the minimum. I had no intention of paying it off, and I just let it run, because I didn't see that as my debt, because I lent it to somebody and they'd fucked me over, you know. So and it was hard. Yeah, it was really hard, because I had to take ownership of that debt and actually admit to myself that I was stupid, that I got done. Paid back every penny, right? And done it in, I set myself a 5-year plan. First year was an absolute nightmare. Changed my plan and set myself another 5-year plan and paid it off in 3.5 years. But that was 35 grand's worth of debt. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. But I was working 7 days a week. I had 2 jobs. I didn't stop. I was a powerhouse because I got focused. And that's what happened. I literally got focused. I checked my debt every week without fail and updated my numbers. And I had spreadsheets and I had calculations and stuff, you know, what ifs. I had a what if spreadsheet. What if I pay an extra £100 a month? How does that take me down the other end? What if, you know, and it's that side of things. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people when they get money, because the ability of losing it, giving it away, mismanaging it is just going to be the biggest shocker that's going to happen to our community. That's what I see happening, because we're all preparing ourselves for a sudden wealth syndrome, which is great. Then we're going to end up with this massive amount of guilt because we have excess. And basically the excess we're going to start giving away. So we'll give to friends and family. But the trouble is they haven't had time to get through the sudden wealth syndrome. So you're going to put on them exactly what you prepared yourself for. And they're going to go off the rails. So you're not helping anyone. And And that's what we need to do as a community. We need to be able to talk this through and talk it out and be what's the word? Mindful of how we deal with it. Moneybags says, if everyone gets government benefits, we just become a number. We're already a number. We're given a number. You know, it's called a national insurance number here. That reminds me of the movement Soylent Green. There will always be some jobs or nothing could survive. Absolutely. And there will be people, but you won't need to go out and do a full-time job, is my point. You can go and do part-time. Devon Steve says, if GSARA comes off, though, we won't be in debt, will we? No, we won't. No, we won't. There won't be a debt. So, but the whole point is that I'm covering options at the moment. And that was the thing. You know, I only heard of GSARA, 2 months ago? Never even heard of that. And it's something that, think about it, Scotty's been saying for ages, you know, the artificial intelligence. You're going to go into a coffee shop. It's not going to be a person sitting behind there. You're going to put it into into a machine, and it's going to be made in front of you, and it'll be a machine doing it. And you're going to wave your card or whatever it is and pay for it, but you're not going to be talking to a person. In fact, the person-owned coffee shops will be the elite shops, where you go to have the experience of having a man-made coffee, ultimately. Do you get what I'm saying? The supermarkets, right? You're not going to be going down the supermarket. They've already got virtual supermarkets. So you literally put a virtual headset on, and you walk around the virtual shop, and you put it all into your shopping bag, and you get to the end and you pay for it, and then just wait for it to be delivered. And ultimately, it'll be delivered by a drone that brings it to your front door. Moneybag says, you're describing globalism. Yeah, but there's a difference, and I hope that we're describing the right difference. You've got New World Order, which is the ultimate genocide of a whole load of people. Whoever's left becomes slaves to the system, which means we get to work until we die, and the wealth is going to be held by the elites and the absolute wealthy, and anybody that goes against that won't be part of the machine. So, and ultimately will be killed. I mean, 1984, it's coming. Or, so you've got New World Order, or you've got like a one world agreement, but each country, what I'm suggesting is every country is going to be sovereign to themselves for their own people, and then there'll be a global charter for all countries to adhere to. And that would mean that it doesn't matter which country you're living in, that you've got like an overall agreement about how everyone's going to be treated. So banks won't be able to charge interest. There'll be no debt. I mean, at the moment, we've got a debt-ridden society. That's how we're run. It's a debt machine, right? So we're going to go from debt machine to excess machine. Country Trooper says, I'm already planned for a sudden wealth syndrome. Need to have a strict plan, as too much money can ruin people's lives as much as it can help. Absolutely. And hopefully that's where I come in. Steve Willett says, just in case this doesn't happen, please don't go out and charge your credit cards up. Oh, God. Oh, no, definitely not. Mine's at max anyway. Yeah, don't put yourself in debt in order to think that it's going to be, because it could be 2 years before it comes in. I honestly believe that the NASARA side of it is going on in America. America is what Charlie Ward is saying is that America are setting themselves up, right? So they're going to be the template. But the only way that comes in any other country is if the people stand up and go, if they can do that in America, we can do that here. We're going to vote in the people that are going to make that happen, right? Because if that doesn't happen, and we're still doing the sausage making machine that we've got at the moment, and you're looking over in America going, but how can they do their system? If they can do it, we can do it. We will have a whole uprising, but it's going to take the people to stand up to force the change through. And that's what Charlie's saying. Charlie's saying that nothing's going to happen. Trump can't come in and change the way we do things in an authoritarian way. All he can do is show what they are going to do over in America. And then the rest of the world is watching. The rest of the world is literally watching. They're watching the QAnon stuff. They're watching what Trump is doing, the Trump-Sara stuff, Trump-Sara. And people are already saying, well, when are our debts going to be forgiven? We've already started in the UK because we've got debt forgiveness that's gone on with the NHS. So it can happen, and I'm hoping that will continue. Rising Green says, got to run, guys. Thanks for joining in. Honour and a pleasure. Take care. All cheers. Boo. Keep on keeping. Keep on keeping, girl. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Enjoy that Merlot. Justin says, I have a lot of debt already, so not charging up the cards anymore anyway. Yeah, we've all got debt. Everyone's got debt. And how nice would it be if that debt got forgiven? Or how nice will it be that we have a growth in the market and we can pay our own debts off? Adios, amigos, says Steve Willett. Drone delivery. A well-aimed shotgun will bring a drone down. A new way of parcel theft. Yeah, work that one out. I think that I don't think that will be a thing. I actually don't think that will be a thing. Because if it goes down to the drone delivery, there'll be lots of drones around, and we're already the most watched country in the world. All they have to do is put up a couple more CCTV cameras and we're completely blanketed. So yeah, wasn't it supposed to come in on 9/11 but was stopped by the attacks? Why do you think they'd brought down the towers? Yes, it was signed. Bush had signed Nasara, but they decided that they were going to go against that and they stopped it by 9/11. This is happening over here, but you've got to look over here. It's what they do all the time. I'm waiting for the next false flag to come out. In fact, I'll tell you what the next false flag is. You're going to have a whole load of looting and rioting, and they're going to blame, they're pretending to be QAnons. Because they're walking around going, save the children, save the children, take out the paedophiles, arrest the paedophiles. And it's like, well, hold on a minute. Aren't you the same people that were looting for Black Lives Matter last week? They will have GPS and cameras, so shooting them down would be crazy. Hi, XRP magazine. But yeah, that's the next false flag. And they're going to try and do it. And the thing is, I think the deep state are actually running out of, people are just getting fed up with the whole fucking thing at the moment. You don't even hear about the stuff that's, the people that are actually suffering right now at the moment really badly is Canada, because the stuff that they're bringing in is ridiculous. They have stepped over the line of human rights and taken that far beyond anything that you could even think of. You just could not make it up. They've got road checks. They literally are stopping every car on the roads, checking where they're going, why they're going. They completely shut down Melbourne. That was because of the deep underground bunker stuff. But the draconian rules that they've brought out, and people are trying to fight against it, and they're getting arrested. I mean, I saw a thing today on Rebel News, and there was a young lad, and he was just going between in a tractor. They're collecting the harvests. So he's literally come out on the road to go into the next field. Didn't think nothing of it. So, you know, he's on the side of the road. XRP chance. Wifey is home from work, so got to run, guys. See you later, honey. And as he's just come up, gone down the verge, go into the next field to carry on working. So he's not on the road. So he's not queued up with the checkpoint thing, because he's literally going from one field to the next field. They jumped all over him. They jumped in the cab. They started beating him up. They said that he had to have they said he had to have a breath test. This is a homeschooled 18-year-old kid that doesn't drink, obviously. Had no idea what a breathalyzer test was. So he's like, well, what's that then? And they literally dragged him out and charged him with resisting arrest, avoiding the checkpoint, and then they impounded the tractor, so they couldn't use the tractor to gather the cropping, and it just so stupid. And the thing is, people are overstepping the mark. They're using, and it's a complete bullshit, right? The whole thing. The COVID is completely bullshit, right? And they literally are. Hello, Steve Coombs. They literally are putting draconian rules in on people and trying to intimidate them to do as they're told, because this is like the last gasp of the elites. They have nowhere. They know that. Yeah, abuse of power by maniacs. Couldn't say it any better, Tony. It's literally a situation where they're just trying to get their pound of flesh out of people, because they can, and now they don't care anymore, right? You're actually seeing these people for what this is exactly what was planned. This is how they planned it to start with, to actually bring in this is a view on what New World Order was going to bring to us, literally. And that's the scariest thing. We're actually seeing what was planned in the first place. And thank God for Trump. Honestly, he's managed, him and the QAnons have managed to open people's eyes, and hopefully will continue to open people's eyes, because if people are still sleepwalking through all of this, and a majority of people don't end up standing up, this election is so important. It's the most important election ever. It's the most important worldwide global election, which is going to be decided in one country, which is why I'm on Twitter all the time, sharing stuff, just pro-Trump. Got to be done. I'm in the UK. I don't get a vote. All I can do is keep sharing, and just hopefully that somebody somewhere will get, I don't know, awoke. So that's one less vote for Biden. I mean, the guy's creepy. It's I don't understand how anyone can actually vote for him. I mean, all he said in his talk about being the president was everything that Trump is actually doing right now. You know, vote for me and I'm going to do this, and this. Hold on a minute. It's already being done. Moneybags. I hope Charlie Ward is right. Oh, Darcy. I was told last night that I've joined a cult. Okay. This is a sort of shit that you actually end up getting from people that have absolutely no idea and completely brainwashed, and they have no idea what's going on around the world. I got this. I'm not going to read it all, but I got this, right? From somebody that I thought was a friend. I watched that video you posted about the correlation between the flu and trafficking. It's all fake. I love you and telling you as a friend, but this is getting out of hand. People that are friends of yours would have done an intervention, but nobody lives close to do that. You can get pissed off at me all you want, but I think you need to start to look within yourself and look at these things with clear mind if all of it is truthful. Some people think you are losing it. Some people wonder if you are on drugs. Me personally, I think you are a victim of being recruited by extremist cult. ISIS recruits people in the same way. I see no difference here. I don't care if you get mad at me or pissed off at me. I'm doing this because I care about you as a friend. I've seen you get dragged into this. I've seen you lose friends, which sadly you will continue to lose friends. I'm not trying to convert you. I'm not going to try and debunk anything anymore. I'm asking you to be more critical of things you find online instead of just believing it all. You used to be very critical in your thinking. You don't do that anymore. Right? That is what I got from somebody I called a friend. So apparently they wanted to do an intervention. And I was accused of being brainwashed by a cult. So you're not on your own, Darcy. And what you have to do is got to just rise above it because your eyes are wide open. Now, whether all of it's true or some of it's true, all we know is everything at the moment that we're looking at is a lie. Our whole lives are a lie. Everything that we think is reality is a lie. It literally, you've got to open your eyes to the fact that governments don't have your best interests at heart. They've got their own agenda. There is a massive manipulation that goes on to the whole world. You listen to Charlie Ward. He moves money to countries so that they can bring about the right person to be elected. Listen to what he says that he did. Right? He moves money but for governments into areas to ensure the elections go the way they want. That's worth thinking about. That's worth thinking about. I've known for years. I've known about the occult stuff for years because family member, before I was born, got dragged into it and it scared the shit out of him, literally. So basically, don't worry. Don't worry. The Darcy, it's not a cult. It's called being awoke. It's called asking questions because nothing makes sense. And the fact that children are being trafficked and the fact that what I was sharing was the trafficking routes. And it's well known and it's a fact. And it's Pizzagate is a fact. You know, it's and Clinton is fucking witch. So that was after the talk last night. Take it. He's not telling everyone else. Don't panic. If we were a cult, then we would be coming around to your house and getting you to leave your mates and probably ask you for money. So I guess that we're not a cult. We're not a cult. Just a bunch of like-minded people. Crypto Mike, we have royalty in the house. Construct of the Matrix. Yeah, literally. I mean, it's so difficult. Darcy says, I'm fine, guys. This is just how hard it is to get people to listen. Just got to pick your battles, Darcy. You talk to the people. You don't try and tell them everything at the same time. You just drop in questions. Just question. In Twitter, I just question. So why do you think that the UK government still put us in lockdown after downgrading from a seriously contagious disease? Why have they asked us to wear masks now? You know, just throw it out there. You got to pique people's interests. Pizzagate, the whole lot needs to be shot. Yes, they do, Richard. It's one of those. Hi, Mike. It's one of those things where everyone that touches kids needs to die. It is as simple as that. And if that makes me a bad person, I'm happy to be a bad person. OG says 100%. We are the construct of the matrix. Yeah, because everything's been manipulated. Everything that we think is reality. We think we have choices. We think we have made, we're choosing which person runs the country. Well, actually, it's already chosen. Everything is predetermined. That's why Brexit was such a shock. Oh, Tony, I was banned from Facebook for mentioning Tony Robinson's name. Just put a name on a fluffy bunny video. Look into the Black Forest Rothschild property and the correlation to the book 100 Days in Sodom. Yeah, I heard that they hunt children with dogs in the Black Forest. Richard Chamberlain says because the UK government don't have a clue, they flip flop all the time. The 24-hour clock has got nothing on this people. Has nothing on these people. Do you know what the corruption and the depths of corruption that we've got? I watched another video today that basically was saying about the amount of MPs, and most of them are Labour MPs, that are pedos. And they still get to be MPs, and they are investigated. They go to prison, or they get a slap on the wrist, but they are tried. And I didn't realise that Tony Blair put a blanket non-disclosure. The papers are not allowed to talk about it for 100 years. Now, anybody worth their salt, Boris Johnson, revoke that one and let's get the truth out. That's what needs to happen. They're protecting their own, and that's a ridiculous situation to be in. They don't have the right to do that. OG says, and the 12 orphans that disappeared while on the picnic with the Queen in Canada. Yeah. Crypto Mike says, the good thing now is that people are starting to ask better questions about everything. They are realising who they really are, and this is revealing everything. Richard Chamberlain says, you say that. Boris Johnson has been apparently implicated in Pizzagate. The image was going back 20 years-ish. That's a shame. That's a shame. Do you know what? We need someone different to run this country. We need somebody who is so rich that they can't be nobbled. Farshad Rouhani, good afternoon. Everyone just finished lunch and listening. Tony G, that's if you can find the real Boris Johnson. Yeah, I know. I've heard the stories. The problem is that the problem is that he had COVID apparently, and he went into hospital and was really very sick. But his pregnant girlfriend, who was living with him, didn't get it. Just saying. You know, there's many stories of people where the husband got it and the wife didn't. They sleep in the same bed. What stories? That Boris Johnson basically is not Boris Johnson. That's the rumour. That's the rumour. I don't know how far I go on the clones. I mean, obviously, you look at Kamala and it's obvious that that's not the right person. That if you can find him, yeah, it's because. Okay, here's a scenario. What if all the films that you see about clones is based on the fact that they managed to be able to do that and have done for many years? That cloning is something that's real. It's not perfected, but it's real. And that what they can do is they can take the person, clone them and replace them, so that the person who is replaced is there for show, But the actual real person isn't there anymore. I don't believe they can make clones in a few weeks. It doesn't have to be. And yes, it is and always has been about power. The anything is anything you see in a movie is possible. Of course. They rub off. Now that we're coming round to the reality, everything that they've been rubbing our faces in, right, for years is actually either predetermining what they're intending on doing or carrying on what they've already done. And yeah, it all started when they cloned that goat decades ago. That was the goat sheep. What was her name? Female. Yeah, they've done it. They've done it. Dory. No, that's the fish. That's the fish in the film. I'll think of it in a minute. Dolly. That's it. Dolly. Dolly the sheep. Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, they perfected that years ago, and then they had this embargo and turned around and said, no, we can't do that on humans. No, that just wouldn't be right. And then they've done it anyway. I mean, test tube babies. That's exactly what I was just about to say. So, how many test tube babies were actually clones of the parents? I mean, they literally did do cloning because they got caught out. Everything released to the public is 20-year-old technology. Yeah. So if they can do the cloning thing, and apparently they can speed up the cloning process by doing something. They do talk about it in one of the things that I watched, and basically they've got the technology. They can, and that's why you see such a discrepancy between some of that. Hillary Clinton, they reckon she's got maybe 4. And some of them are really rough, and they're the ones that are winding down because they don't last that long. And then she's got another one that makes her look a lot younger. And then, you know, the reality is that she's doesn't look that young. And that Kamala Harris against you put the two faces side by side, it's not the same person. I didn't think it was a clone. I thought it was a stand-in because the teeth, it's not even the same. The teeth don't. Dolly was born 1996, according to Google, a long time ago. Well, you can absolutely guarantee that they managed to do a Dolly 20 years before that, like OG says. And that's the thing. That's what you need to understand. Everything that you possibly think is. Think about the triangular spaceships, the ones that we've been building, or as humans. You know, it's well known. It's well known that they're man-made. Think about the anti-gravity technology that they're alluding that they're going to bring out. They've already done it. Apparently, they took a submarine and put it up into space with it. You know, what if all these things that are floating around in the when you look up into one of those sky app things, you look up and you see all these different things that they turn and say they're tubular. TR3B, that's the one. Yeah, they're tubular. They're up there. There's loads floating around outside the Earth's atmosphere. What's that all about? Someone turned and said to me, "Oh, they're when they go up in the ships, they let go of the bottom layer once they're actually through the atmosphere." Really? Surely they fall back down and dissipate. They can't sit outside the atmosphere. You know, they'd be brought in. They'd be brought in by the gravity, wouldn't they? And break up in the entry. So how do they get so many? And how many times has people been up to space for that to have so many of them out there? I don't believe it. I've never believed it. They came out of Roswell, 1947. Yeah, they used the technology. And the thing is, 1947 to date. I mean, that's far beyond that. Was 70 years, is it? They're supposed to be automatically declassified, and yet they reclassified it. Why would they do that? Because they don't want us to know. They would only do it if they've got something to hide. If they unclassified something that had nothing there, then I could understand it. The only reason that they're not unclassifying it is because they're still hiding what's there. Because they don't want people to find out just how much technology they've been hiding from us. Multiplicity. Michael Keaton. I thought that was a really good film. Moneybag says, I'll only believe in adult clones if I meet one. Oh, they've been doing it for years. I mean, just the fact that they announced they'd done it to a sheep must tell you that they'd already perfected it in humans, because they wouldn't actually come out and admit to that unless they'd managed to do it. Maybe Boris is the fourth one. Yeah, it could be. Maybe he actually died of coronavirus. It's just makes you think. It makes you think. I mean, I watch everything. I believe nothing as fact until we start to get the actual facts out. So when Clinton is arrested, then I'll believe that she's actually going to get some form of justice for what she's done. Same with Obama, same with Biden. They can't do anything with Biden while he's the president-elect. So, just saying, that was the plan. They can't get to him because he is the presidential candidate. So, yeah, wise move. Did you hear that they're actually trying to run past an act in Congress that will allow a president to run for 3 terms? Do you think they're going to try and bring Obama back in this election? Richard Chamberlain, the problem is that we've been lied to so many times we don't know what's true or false. Exactly. So there's nothing that's out of bounds. I mean, you could pick the weirdest, wonderfulest conspiracy theory in the world, and right now, it could be true. Maybe not the Earth flat thing. Don't believe that for a minute. But yeah, anything apart from that could be true. They've got the underground bunkers. That's that was shown to us. Did anyone notice that when that Beirut bomb went off, they said that they found loads of underground corridors, and that they were hoping that they'd actually managed to find some people in there that were still alive? There's your bunkers, deep underground bunkers that were led down to the water's edge where you could have a submarine come up and collect stuff. It's all a lie. You've got people like, oh, who is it that took us? Blair, that didn't think twice about lying to us to put us in a war. Weapons of mass destruction. He was told absolutely that it was there. Did anyone show him any proof? Because that's what it would have taken. He said he was absolutely certain it was there. The earth is flat, just all the way around. Nice one, Kung Fu Tuber. Moneybag says, I just hope to hell they don't decide to clone a dinosaur. We've already seen how that one ends. OG says, we're all part of an organic computer simulation. Everything is electric impulses. Absolutely. And when we sit in the sun, we download our latest upgrade program. Just saying. The sun's changed colour. We no longer have an orange sun. We have a yellow sun. Why would that happen? If they say about the 3rd term, you could look at the last president, double meaning, could relate to what you said. If they said about the 3rd term, you could look at the last president, double meaning, could relate to what you said. Yeah. What they're going to do, Moneybags, I'm up for working in the dinosaur facility. No, don't want to do that. They kill everyone because the dinosaurs will get out. Stephen Coombs says, Trinity and Scott, Trust and the Gates. Love to all from Google STE. Trinity and Scott Trust and the Gates. I don't get that at all. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah, right. You could die. That's the worst that could happen. You could die. But then you'd come back as a dinosaur, wouldn't you? You don't know. Anyone been past life regressed? Oh, we've got 17 people in the room. Just saying. 17 comes up all the time. No? Okay. I've had past life regression. It was interesting, shall we say. Very interesting. Q. I know, right? 17. Happens. It just so happens I just look up and I see it. And it's like almost every time that I look up, I see it. And then it goes away. The worst is they cloned my mother-in-law. Worst thing that can happen is that, yeah. I have dreams of being killed in a war. Do you know what? I honestly believe that sometimes in your DNA, you know, there is a heritage side of things. I could find the dinosaurs plenty of food. Do you know what, Kung Fu Tuber? I could think of a few thousand pedos that really could do with taking off the earth. God help you, Tony G. Yeah. So there is a way. I mean, I honestly believe that we come around and we come back, and we come back because we choose to. Don't get me wrong. And we I don't quite go with the premise that we have no choice, because if we can tap into our soul, which we could do if we were more spiritual. So if we could reconnect with our previous lives, we'd actually get a feeling on what we were supposed to do in this life, I think, personally. And that ascension that we need to do would come a lot quicker. I think that the way that the world is actually set by these elites is done to keep us down from ascending to our absolute possibilities. And I think that that's a diabolical thing that they do. And we're not the first civilization that ever existed on Earth, no. And I just honestly believe that we are spirit. We're in a meat suit, but we are spirit, and we do come back. But we come back for specific reasons, and we come back and you get those people that you come close to, and you just know that you know them, and yet you've never met them before in your life, and yet you have that instant it's not an attraction, it's like an instant recognition on people. And that's where you find the like-minded people, because you're all you resonate on the frequency, and you recognize people that are resonating on the same frequency as you. And I honestly believe that there's those people that come into your life that you've met before in previous lives, and they just come back in and vibrate your frequency higher. Yes, you do. That's what you need to do. And we can do that with meditation, but we need to clear our minds. And you can't clear your minds if you're worried about the bills. You can't clear your minds if you're in a shit job and you're feeling miserable. It's the familiarity. Yes, Mike, you're right. And that familiarity that you get with people, even if you haven't met people, right? I mean, I watch you on your YouTube and I feel like I know you, right? And it's not because I've watched you and I'm a fan or anything like that. I just feel like that you are someone on the same level as me. What Bill says, Steve Coombs. Mike says, we're going through an emotional purge on the spiritual side. Yes, we are. Weed helps with clearing the mind. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Weed shuts your mind down and takes away your thinking, unfortunately. But it's a good pastime instead of drinking. But no, it's how do you explain it? I just think that if we could clear our declutter our life enough to clear our mind, then we could explore the possibility of what we're supposed to. You know, just little things like I used to be able to juggle, right? So I used to be able to do 2 balls in both hands and juggle, right? So that I'd or do 3 balls and juggle between the 2 hands. Psilocybin, yes, that would be a good one. I really do want to do that. It's a getaway. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's an escape. Absolutely. I do it with alcohol because I can't do it with weed. And I like to switch my brain off. But I need to switch my brain off sometimes. So it helps me. Because I'm like this, like I do with my talks. I just talk on that subject and then I get over there and I start talking about that subject. And I might come back to that subject, but then I'll go off to this subject and then there's this other subject I want to talk about. That's me. That's what I do. But it's because my brain is going off on all these different ping, ping, ping. It's the same way as I set my goals out. You know, I'm one of those people that I've got a goal, right? I know what my end goal is, right? And that would be my ultimate perfection. But then in order to get there, I've got to do this. But then when I get to here, then I've got all these different options all lined up. So whatever one of those works, then that will be plan C. And then the next step will be plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, whatever. And it could turn out that I'll be on plan B on that one. And then I'll go over to plan D. And then I could end up with plan Z. Ultimately, I get where I want, right? And I have my plans and I set out. I set out because I know that everything changes. So as long as you know where your end result is, so you've got your destination, you just need the map, right? But you're going to hit a couple of dead ends and some closed roads, and you know there might be an accident on another one and stuff like that. So you've got to adjust your journey as you go. But I'm always, this is the next step. But you've got plan A. I want to do it that way, and if that doesn't work, I'm going to do it that way. And if it doesn't work, it does that way. And if it doesn't work that way, I'll do it that way, all the way down, right? So ultimately, but the point is, you get the next step, right? Squirrels. You do that with motorbikes and Subarus with me. Yeah, OG. A lot of people are the same. A lot of people are the same. And do you know what? Don't ever get me on speeds. You want to see? Yeah. You want to see me talk fast? But I'm more focused. And I haven't for like long time. I used to have them as God, give them away. Losing weight. I used to have attenuate DOS pain, they were called, like 25 years ago, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so I've always got a plan, and I've always got. So when I'm sitting there and I'm going through, and I'm watching all these different things. So I'm watching. I'm actually actively watching the political stuff that's going on in America, and that's what I'm focused on. And I'm watching people like Charlie Ward, and I'm Santa Surfing and Mike and Mr. Level Up. So you know, I've got the crypto, I've got the British side of things, I've got the American side of things, and I'm also exploring about the child trafficking side of things. I'm looking into these what they're called, these enlarged giants, basically, that are stone, but they're not just they are. It's almost like somebody's actually being turned into stone, because you can actually see the veins and things like that. So that's really interesting. I am absolutely obsessed with that, and the Egyptian side of things and everything like that. I'm very much into. Is Charlie Ward legit? I believe that he believes what he's being told. I also believe that he is. I actually think that he is a disseminator of information. So I do believe that he's being given information, and he's got a manager and everything. So this is quite contrived on what's going on. But he is literally bringing the right people in front of you to bring you the story. So forget what he says about what he's told by the people that he's in touch with. He actually puts people in front of you that gives you their view. So we had a guy on from England, James, bless his heart, lost his daughter, lost his sister 2 months ago. She suicided because she delved into the rabbit hole, started trying to tell people about it, and got mobbed, right? So basically, they all went against her, turned around and said she was in a cult, didn't believe a word she said, questioned her mental capacity, like we do. So he had someone like that. Today he had a physics, there was a physics and chemistry teacher. Physics and something teacher. Anyway, so he was outed because he was a Brexiteer, right? He could no longer be a teacher. So he does private teaching now. So he was giving over his views on how we are, or our children are being brainwashed in schools. Charlie Ward is just like me, but when I'm sober. I could talk about that shit all day long. I'd like to know what NDAs Charlie is under. Yeah, absolutely. Well, he said something about something being up. David Icke. Yeah. Well, Charlie doesn't pretend to be an expert in what he's talking about. What he is a fairly well-to-do person that's got a lot of life experience. He's 60 years old. He's lived in Spain for quite a lot of them. He still works. He's got a lot of contacts in different countries from what he did, the money that he's been shifting around for governments. So he's very, very, very well connected. So I would say that I'd say he's legit, but I would also say that any disinformation that they wanted to bring out in order to throw a spanner in the works for the deep state would come out in his talks. So the thing about the quantum financial system, I spoke to a guy that works very high up in a bank, British bank, and he doesn't know anything about the SWIFT situation going offline. But he did come back to me today and say, look, what if they were doing it in central banks? I wouldn't know because I don't work for a central bank. But that's the only situation that he can see that it would happen, but for central banks only. So the SWIFT system would still be there. But basically it could be that the system is going to be used between the central banks themselves. And he really does want Charlie Ward to be legit, this guy, because it's all about the children. And I keep saying it's all about the children. Whether or not his timescale is going to come out, I doubt it. I doubt that his timescales on like the cashless society. He's actually turned around and said that cash will still be around, but they're moving more away from it. Well, we knew that anyway, so that's not new news. We also know that there should be a new currency, world currency, and we've been talking about that for XRP for years, and we just hope that XRP is that world currency. So, or if not, that goes in the SDR bag with the all 5 currencies for the world to use. That makes sense. That sort of makes sense to what he was saying about XRP and 3 other coins. Gold backed. We've been talking about gold backed for years. That would be the ultimate perfect. So he also said he worked for 30 years fitting security systems in all prisons in England. No, he didn't say he fitted them. He said he had a company. I think this guy had loads of companies, and had fingers in all pies. He's yeah, I think, like I said, he's well connected. But time will tell. Time will tell. I saw Charlie in prison one Christmas. Steve Coombs. What, really? Well, as in Santa? Justin hasn't used cash since April. Good for you. I still leave tips in cash. He dropped the soap. Knew that was a joke. Cashless is a part of COVID, and that just works so well into what the ultimate design was. And we can't actually have the same financial system if we keep cash. It just doesn't work. And we can't go into distributed ledger technology, blockchain, if we keep cash. And we can't change the financial system if we keep cash. It's not really the way forward for the new financial system, because everything needs to, we've been pushed away. I mean, I changed my bank account. I asked them for a checkbook. They said no. I pay for events with the checks. So, we need to change the way that we work. So I pay by PayPal. You find a way around it. And after a while, you don't miss it. I don't miss not having a checkbook. And I don't often have cash on me. I do try and have cash for things like paying a tip, but that's about it. And there's no other way of doing that until we get, tokenized. And then he could literally walk around, he's got a barcode, and, he gives you his card with his barcode. And if you choose to give him a tip on his barcode, then XRP tip book, just saying. Then basically you could send him a tip that way. There's lots of, he did boo-boo. He said also that's how he got to read different prisoners. I need coins to do laundry. It won't take crypto. Yeah, Darcy. He's 60 years old. I'll look into that, because he left school, his age group, he left school at 15, if not before. So he's had like 45 years of working. I could understand if he'd done 20 years, but 30 years? Not sure. I'll go and have a look. Still not understanding the coin shortage. Doesn't make sense, because they're not redoing the coins. And I think what you'll find is, as the coins are going into the banks, they're not coming back out again. So bit by bit by bit, they're going to get rid of the coins, because they're not going to be giving them out. Funny how the minimum spend on cards seem to have disappeared. Yeah, absolutely. And they've increased the amount of money you can spend just by tapping as well. Oh, gee, that's simple. Sorry, sir, madam, we can't give you your change. Please pay by card. Yeah, absolutely. They're not refusing your cash. They are saying they can't give you your change. What about people who can't have a credit card or bank account because of bad credit history? How can they pay by card? Right. The way that it works is that the people that have got bad credit history can have a debit card on their account. So it's not a credit card. And there are bank accounts you can have. Yeah, every person in the UK can have a card. There are accounts you can have that don't give you credit, so you can't go overdrawn. You get a card to spend, but you can't spend what's not there. Very regimented, if you've got bad credit or bad credit history. With any luck, that all goes out the window, because you're not going to be needing to get credit at all. Ultimately, they've got to get rid of the credit system. Tony G will let Crypto Boo Boo explain. Yeah, basically, that's it. That becomes your card. Apple Pay. You're going to have the ability of literally paying with your phone. You won't even need a card. They've been training the Japanese for years to use their instead of a card when they go onto the metro system. They've been training them to use their phone to get them used to having credit on their phones that they can use. Very smart thing. Very, very smart thing. Thank you. I heard so many people panicking over this. Bad credit history, open what they call a student account. Can't spend it if it isn't in there. Yeah. Hey, from Cyprus, Neo stuff. How you doing, honey? Yeah, it's one of those weird and wonderfuls. We all know it's coming. It makes sense that it's going to. Cashless society is what we've been pointing towards for a very long time. They did that when they brought out the debit cards. We never used to have debit cards. You used to have you had a debit card, but you couldn't use it to pay in the shop. You used it to take the money out the wall. And then they brought out these cash machines that you could either pay by debit card or credit card. And that's how it started. So gradually over the last, 10, 15 years, people stopped getting cash. And very smartly, they've done that. But what they've got at the moment is perfect opportunity to literally get rid of cash in one easy lesson, because it can spread the virus. Think about it. If they make it so that you're scared to take in cash because it could spread the virus, and you wouldn't believe the amount of shops that actually don't take cash. No longer take cash, card only. And basically that's how they're doing it. They're perfect opportunity. Black Swan event comes in and there goes your cash. And people are embracing that because it keeps them safe. Nice little sheeples. Gemini Pay, Coinbase Pay, powered by Flexa. Absolutely, Crypto Mike. Well, you're going to be able to pay by crypto soon. You do that with your Revolut card. It's just that they swap it into fiat as they're making the payments. There are many accounts we have here. We have the debit card that is linked to your account. If the money is not there, you are declined. And then we have the credit card. Spend, spend, spend. But the credit card will be gone if we go into this new financial system, because that is not going to be something we're going to be allowed to do. Okay, bloke says, brother has mental health issue. If we give him a card, he'll spend all his benefits in one go. Yeah. And that's where blockchain comes into its own, because you're going to be able to limit what he can do per day, per transaction. You know, there will be a way of doing it. Kung Fu Tuber says, I shall sanitize my fibers. Breathe on them. Go on, I dare you. Justin says, even contactless, they want you to pay that way too, rather than chip and pin. Yeah, I know. But I think the maximum you can spend on contactless is 45. You are talking Nasara. No, blockchain. Basically, blockchain is going to, you're going to be able to set your spending patterns, right? So think of the app that you've got at the moment, and you can go into your bank and you've got your card and you've got your direct debits and everything like that. You would be able to limit. So whoever his carer is, you'll be able to limit on his phone, literally be able to set how much can be spent in one time, how much can be spent in a day. You know, you can have complete control over the money. If you pay on Apple Pay, it's apparently unlimited. That will have to change. That literally will have to change. But yeah, I mean, if you pay on Apple Pay, you still have to have the money there in order to be able to do it, surely. Yeah, Apple Pay is it's like an app instead of having a card. But you can't spend what you haven't got. I don't think you'll find. Revolut have all of these options now. Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to come to a bank account near you very soon. Your fingerprint PIN is the same as entering your PIN. Yeah, Absolutely. I got facial recognition on mine. I still got to sort out for Spark tokens. We got 6 months, Darcy. Don't stress about it. I'm going to wait and see how everybody else does it first, and let them go through, and then let it become easier. Or there'll be a lot of people like Scott that will literally just do a tutorial on how to do it. Justin says, reason is you'd ID yourself on Apple Pay with card. Anyone could get hold of your card and spend. Absolutely. It's linked to your bank and acts the same as a debit card. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you lose your card, you can literally go onto your account on your phone and block the card. In fact, you can put it on hold while you go looking for your card, just in case you just dropped it down the back of the chair or left it in the car or something like that. Card, that's Apple Pay. Link to your bank, that's the same way as a debit card. Yeah. Well, you can't spend what you haven't got, is what I'm saying. And that's the way it should be. TSB cash machine was amazing. Fuck me, I've got a card that got cash out the wall. What the fuck? Or what the actual fuck? That's the thing. I mean, did we ever think that was going to happen when we first? Well, it depends how old you are. Okay, when I was first going into the working world, growing up, I had a post office account because that's all I was allowed to have under 18. And then as soon as I got to under 16, and then as soon as 1982, yeah, I was born in 1969. Good year, really good year. Man landed on the moon. But I'm 51. But anyway, so when I first started working, you weren't allowed to have an overdraft. You could only take your cash out when the banks were open. And you used to have to write yourself a check in order to take it out before George Orwell. Yeah, thanks. Crypto Mike is, have a blessed one, guys, and check out PAXG. It's a stable coin pegged to the price of gold. Oh, interesting. I see they're trying to do a purge on stable coins at the moment, though. 1968, Steve says. The good old days. 1 coin for 1 ounce bar of gold. 1 ounce. Isn't that like, how much is an ounce? Is that $2,000 at the moment? Or is that 2,000? How much is an ounce of gold right now? Is it over the 2,000, is it? That'd be a good one. Because they're going to inflate the price of gold as soon as the new system comes in. And we know the system's coming in anyway, because they've appointed the right people. Yeah, 2,000. Crypto Mike, man, hold on. Are you the one we had? Man, how old are you? We had notes in my day. Got my first card, TSB Speedbank card, in the year of George Orwell. Not sure on gold. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, gold is gonna. They're holding down the price of gold to allow people to buy in at the moment. Where's the best place to buy silver? I actually ordered mine from Switzerland. And basically, but you have to pay an import duty on it. So, trick to do is go on to, who's a British YouTuber? Go find a British YouTuber that talks money, and I will almost guarantee that they will have a link to some gold or silver company. Silver bars and coins. Yeah, I bought some silver, but I ordered it from Switzerland, thinking that it wouldn't have an import duty, and it did. Bugger, as you do. Right, guys, I've been on for 2 hours. I mean, this is stupid. I think it's time to let you all get on with your day, your evening. So I shall say good night. Hopefully tomorrow night I'll be on. This one person spent 50 billion on about 20 different cryptos last week, and this was one of them. PAXD. Also pay attention to Oh My God and ZRX. Sent all the money out of China. Hold on. Let me just. So you got PAXD. Oh, for God's sake. OMG ZRX. Thanks, Mike. I will take a look at them tonight and see about getting some of those. I used bullion by post, Ireland, England, free, insured and delivered. Okay. Bullion by post. All right, I'll have a look at that one. I need to get some little bits of gold. I'll send you the video in the Telegram. Thank you, Mike. That would be amazing. Mama Lacey says scam. What's a scam? Tony G says, it's been great, boo. Thanks, Hunt. Good night, all. Tar very much. What's a scam, Mama Lacey? The money coming out of China. PAXG. PAXG. Got it. Get up in the morning and try and buy some gold. It's not going to happen. It's all been snaffled. Ta-ta for now. All right then, people. Well, thank you very much for coming in. I've got 18 people in at the moment. I've got 15 likes, so fantastic. I'll try and get on tomorrow, same time, 7:30. I might not be at home tomorrow night, so I'll be somewhere different, probably at my sister's, or I'll do it here and then go up to my sister's afterwards. Not sure. But I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for sitting with me. And yeah, speak to you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye, bye, bye.